and it's 10 o'clock, and we can start our webinar regarding smart decisions in business with Microsoft PowerBI and Fabric. I'm really glad we have so many registrants today. More than 250 have showed interest to participate in Pan-Baltic webinars. So I believe the topic about data and smart decisions is relevant to everyone, actually. So I will start, and today's agenda. I will be doing a little intro about the topic and OIXIO. After that, two good colleagues from our data and analytics team, Taavo and Ivo, will take the stage to talk about different tools and how to embrace these tools to achieve the goal of good and quality decisions, smart decisions in nowadays business world. And after that, in the end, I will be closing the webinar and also giving a good two options for next steps to participate. So let's continue. There are quite many new participants who haven't been participating in previous sessions. Then few words about the OIXIO Group. We are operating in Baltics and also now from this year in Germany. We have been in the market a little bit more than 30 years, and we employ nearly 250 employees. Over the years, we have been working with more than 1,000 customers in Baltics, from usually medium and large scale companies. And current year, our revenue will be more than 32 million euros. When to talk about our services, and we are unique in Baltics. We are the partner who can cover 4 major areas, and we know that there isn't any competitors who can have a look from the scale to all the companies. So basically, we can start from business advisory to understand what would be the strategic pillars to develop your business in innovation and digitalization side of business. Then, of course, classical IT services, then digitalization of business processes regarding ERPs, data and AI, human resources, etc. And of course, nowadays, cybersecurity is really important topic for all companies, and we are really glad to offer all these services from cybersecurity as well. But in today's topic, data and AI, I would like to emphasize that we have been growing in this field more than 20 years already, and we have built our own portfolio and many services. So we can say that we know how to be and AI. So we have many our own out-of-the-box portfolio products. Lately, very popular are budgeting and prognosis solution, cost allocation, HR reporting, etc. So feel free to contact us if you have any questions or ideas regarding these topics, and we can show how we can help to achieve better results in these processes. And of course, a really strong team to help with data and AI services in all the range of your business. And also a little bit our team and services. So as I said, we have been in the market already in many years. So in some countries already 30 years, in some 27. But within these years in data and AI, we have been working together with more than 60 customers to deliver specifically data and analytics solutions. And we have many references from different business areas. We have been around 15 dedicated specialists in the team. We have different technologies which we can embrace and use. And of course, our own portfolio and nowadays integrations with all different data sources to gain data to the solutions to provide basis for decision making. And of course, most important, our knowledge base from our experiences with our customers. There are quite many names known in Estonia, some known in Baltics as well. But that's the source of our experiences to work with our good customers. So to our today's topic, smart decisions, and why and how. It's why the topic is today on everyone's table. Our good partner Pricewaterhouse has done a study every year. Also, current year in September and October, they conducted a CFO study in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And you can see companies which were included in the survey, and also key topics which were discussed with CFOs, and how business sectors were chosen as well. So about 50 CFOs were interviewed, and I wanted to bring out one slide which is actually showing quite good overview about the situation in Baltics. Of course, there is a topic about AI, but more importantly, we see that cloud-based ERPs is on top list, where a lot of deployment has been started or planned already, and a lot has been already done. Then visualization and analytics, we can see that even more is in deployment phase and started or planned. And also automation and predictive checks, predictive analytics, and all scenarios, and also generative AI shows that a lot of companies still doesn't have no plans. But basically, these are the top topics, and it shows that this kind of decision making and need for this kind of good decisions is on everyone's table, and it shows quite well that a lot has to be done in coming years. And if to conclude this kind of, or to find answer why smart decisions are needed, or why we are striving to get to this phase where we can say that we do smart decisions, or why we want to do smart decisions, is that basically everyone wants to know where we are going, how we are doing. We want to feel confident about future. We want to make right choices, and we want to be efficient in our everyday life. But to conclude, the main thing I think everyone feels and can relate is that we want to succeed in our business and life. So that's is the essence of why we want to make smart decisions. And then, of course, is always a question how to start, or how to move again towards a smart decision, this kind of world where we can say that we are doing smart decisions. So first of all, we see with our really good cooperation projects and working with our customers that the most successful companies are believing in data, and they embrace the data enthusiasts. They really support them, and they give them this kind of freedom to test different solutions and think how we can take next steps regarding data, how to make better decisions, how to be more efficient, more automatic. Then, of course, follow methodology and best practices which are meant to your own company, take the best breed out of them, and use methodology and best practices within data and AI processes. Of course, use the best breed solutions. Is it whatever solution you are using, but use the best of breed nowadays. It's really giving you a competitive advantage. And of course, find experienced partner, because usually companies don't have all needed resources and know-how in-house nowadays. Technology is really moving really fast, and it's good to have an experienced partner who knows how to implement solutions and how to bring the value out of the quite complex solutions nowadays. So what we are seeing is that if companies start small, the dreams are getting bigger. So suggestion is start small, but dream big. And now it's good to give floor to my colleagues, Taavo and Ivo. So first will be Taavo, who will be talking about Microsoft Fabric and data and analytics, a little bit about Power BI as well. And then we will turn to Ivo's presentation. So I believe Taavo is ready and can start sharing his screen.
Yes, hello from my side. As Hannes already said, my name is Taavo. And today I will talk a little bit about Fabric and what is it. I've been working with data now for about seven years. And looking at the agenda today, I will first look a little bit into who we are in our team. What is the role of data analytics in a modern business? What is Microsoft Fabric and why should one think about implementing it? We'll bring out some cooler features, at least in my opinion, cool features in Fabric, and also look at the costs, like how much does it cost? Next, let's look at our team. So currently we are about 15 people, 9 analysts or technical consultants, to call them like that. 4 developers, project manager, and the business line manager. So we have competences in all the Microsoft stack, basically. Power Platform, Synapse, Azure, SQL has been with us all the time, also, and lately more and more Spark and Python. Our developers also do web development and applications, because our own tools or products that Hannes talked shortly about, those are based on web development. Lately, also more and more, we have knowledge and know-how about machine learning and AI in our team. And we are very proud of being a Microsoft AI and data analytics partner. So throughout the years, one of our main focuses has actually been on end user experience, so that we can do all the ingestion, processing, warehousing, visualization, and dashboards for the end users. But we have seen that businesses are not so interested in the whole pipeline of things, but the actual end result. So first, when we look further, I will show a few examples from our work that we have done throughout the years, and then we will look further into Fabric. So here is one example of a real-time analytics solution that we made, which basically is looking at sensors that are placed in manufacturing machinery. And this data is coupled together with ERP data, so we can see the up here is the data that is in real time coming from the sensors, and then down here it's also connected with the different suppliers and production orders that are coming from the ERP system. So bringing like 2 different systems together into one and having an overview in production in real time. This is a similar case, basically looking at results, how we're doing, are we meeting our goals today, and so on. Some tools for like the shop floor of manufacturing. Next example I put here is about warehousing. This example comes from Estonian Forest Registry, who has their warehouse basically all over Estonia in the forest, and they want to look what kind of logs they have, where are they, how long have they been there, and so on. Similar case from forestry company that is actually producing for wooden products, but their warehouse is on their next to their production, basically, and to have an idea what is in our warehouse, how long has it been there, because logs also, they don't stay forever. They have to be used once they have been cut down, so they can select what's interesting for them and tell to the guy who is on the forklift to go and pick up from this or that pile. Now, these two are like, let's say, what's happening right now and what has happened questions. But now, when looking towards future, also we have built one of our solutions that many customers actually use is for the planners, where they have it's in Estonian here, but I will translate it. Basically, you have figures about what is in your stock, what is planned to go out, either through sales or production, and what is left. What are you left with? So now the planners can take this tool and choose the product or the raw material that is interesting to them, and then look into how can they either do changes in plan, or maybe they have to notify the customer that, hey, this and that will delay because we don't have the materials. So the assignment for them basically is to try to make the board as green as possible, but not also have this kind of rows like, we'll go back one slide, like this Z37 here, which is basically staying and just growing and nobody's using it. This is not good either. So this was examples about what will happen. And also another example where we are looking for answers like, what should I do? Here we had a customer who had such a warehouse with different picking locations and like shelves in the warehouse, and they wanted to make sure that they are using the optimal time to pick up different products and not waste time going back and forth. So then we use different machine learning algorithms to calculate which products are picked most often, and also which are picked together, maybe not even the most often, but yeah, together. And then based on that, gave them a result, a tool where they can see where should I place which products in order to use less time to pick up. And finally, also about data gathering a little bit. That normally, or throughout the years, we haven't done so many applications that are for data gathering, but lately we see more and more need for that. Here was a company that was using basically pen and paper and Excels, where they were gathering some data about how well organized their workstations are. In Estonian, it's 5S. I guess it's in English also 5S. So we moved the gathering of the data into Power Apps, where they just insert who they are, what are they evaluating, and then they have the standard questions that have to be answered. They can add pictures and comments, and then swipe right and finally get like a result also right here in the app. On top of that data that is then saved, we also built a report where they can see all the results, go into one specific audit, look what comments were left there, what kind of pictures, and as all of their workstations don't have computers or screens, then they can also print the report out right here so they can see how their workstation has been doing, because in that situation, the results were also connected to their bonuses, let's say like that. So it was quite important for the guys to know. These were some examples, but now let's look a little bit into the role of data analytics and in a modern business. First, I wanted to point out here some of the main challenges that we see companies face when it comes to data management. There are more definitely, but I just picked out 3 for the sake of keeping the time. Firstly, siloed data. So we see that companies have multiple different systems for their data handling. For financing, they have one system, for marketing, different tools, for sales, different tools, and so on. And all of this create different silos of data which are not integrated together. So this can really increase costs. And one example that we lately had was this, that a marketing data was not integrated with sales data, and marketing was spending way too much money on campaigns, which they didn't know if they worked or not really. But now that we have put them together, they have definitely cut their costs down. Next issue that we see often is volume and complexity, mostly with complexity. Like I put a little example also here, that oftentimes we see like architectures that look something like this or even more messy. And the problem with this kind of complexity is that if you had a new machinery, or you add a new sensor to your manufacturing, or you add some new software, then you need to do a lot of overhauling in the whole architecture to integrate that properly. And volume also has been an issue that we've seen, that we had a manufacturing company also, again, that was gathering customer feedback, which was fed to them in free text format. They could analyze it in a vacuum, basically, but to connect it to do some kind of sentiment analysis or some other machine learning models on it, they would have had to do a lot of overhauling of their whole architecture to build it in. And slow decision making. This basically goes together with this example of data gathering and the app that we have made, where we see still a lot of companies that are gathering data in a very manual fashion, and analyzing also is done in Excels. Like, you have 10 guys have 10 Excels, and then it's all put together in one master Excel, and then some calculations are being made. So this can really slow down the information movement between departments. Like the example that we had also was this, that the production was producing this low quality product for, I don't know, 3 days in a row until they got feedback from quality control. But this actually should be there in at the time of production, basically, you should know. Now, modern data management, the benefits of it, kind to contradict all the challenges. Then today we see more and more like this. Real time is fancy word, near real time. I would say real time is nothing, but we see that more and more businesses need to have and are adopting this near real time analytics, and it's not anymore like giving you even a competitive advantage. It's just to stay competitive, to make sure that your sales has information about our stock levels currently or in the future. They know if we have production capacity enough to make a sale in the next month, and so on. Scalability and flexibility, basically, it's countering the complexity from the previous slide. Like, when we think about modern tools like Microsoft Fabric, it can grow with you. It comes under one umbrella in a way, or one solution, and you have all the future-proof tools included in there already. You have machine learning models, AI. There is no restrictions basically on how much data you will store there. You can upgrade it, you can downgrade it very easily. Sorry, I have to get the water. And lastly, from data to intelligence, that we see that a lot of companies are doing already analytics, but oftentimes the question that they're trying to answer is what happened, and not why it happened, or what's next, or what should be done. And as I showed you before, those examples, they were kind of trying to follow that pattern. That the first one was about like what happened or what is happening, and then like why something happens, what's next, and what should be done, like in the case of the warehouse optimization. So further, we will look into Microsoft Fabric and what it is. So Microsoft itself says that it's like an end-to-end data platform. So you can do your ingestions, you can do storage, you can do processing, real-time analytics, reporting. So most of the tools that we see inside here, they already have been on the market for quite some time. There are some new additions, but the Data Factory has been there. Underneath analytics here, we have basically all the tools from Synapse. Databases was just added now during Microsoft Ignite. They announced it, which is basically Azure SQL database. Under real-time intelligence, we have a new thing which is called Data Activator. This we will talk a little bit more about later. And industry solutions is kind of a new addition, where basically you get like a template for your Fabric environment, how to build it up, what kind of data you need. It also gives some kind of already made queries and so on. The thing with Fabric is that it's all living on one lake. So we can think about one lake in a comparison in that way, that we have Office 365, where we have Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, and all the files are living in OneDrive or SharePoint. Now here we have one lake where all our data and all our files are living, and all the different experiences can access that in a seamless way. all the results that you produce with this are also kept in one lake. So if you do something in databases, it can be accessed by Power BI very easily. The new thing here is Copilot, which has been added to Fabric. So all the different experiences can be used in cooperation with Copilot to either to create a Power BI report or to help you build some queries in your databases. And the cataloging can be done in Microsoft Purview. Next, why should one think about using Fabric? This comes back again to these challenges that I talked about before, but a little bit more points here. We have like one unified analytics platform where we can do data engineering, we can do data science, analytics, and business intelligence in one system. So the aim is to eliminate the need for multiple tools or multiple softwares that your team is using to handle the amounts of data that you have. So the whole process becomes a lot more efficient. End-to-end data management, like exactly this, as you can do engineering and science and analytics, you can ingest data, you can transform data, you can store data, and you can visualize it. So all the basic needs that you have, not even basic, but all the needs that you have to build your data solution are covered underneath the Fabric's umbrella. So collaboration, a very important part of Fabric, as there is the picture down here. So you have different personas or different people working on data, and you have engineers, scientists, analysts, and finally also the users who are consuming the reports. So we can say that by implementing Fabric, the borders between them are getting shadier. So data analysts can do some of the engineering things, and so it goes like back and forth. It brings the team a lot more together because we have one lake. So before, if you had engineers working in one system somewhere and they would produce some results, they had to do maybe some export, import it somewhere else to make it available for the analysts. But now, as they can save it straight here one lake, all the analysts can have access to it very easily. Scalability and flexibility, as you pointed it out, also as a benefit of this modern data. So I won't stop too much on it, but basically the idea is that it can grow with your business. There is no limits in terms of like storage and so on. And finally, easy cost management. So if you just imagine that you have 10 different services or tools for your data ingestion and transformations and so on, versus you have one place where you can store your data and do all the analysis on it. The costs and managing those costs will become a lot easier, but we will talk about the cost part in the end. Now, when we look inside of Fabric, then the front page basically looks like this. The UI is what it has been for Power BI. Whatever experience you choose to go into, the UI will look the same everywhere. So that also enhances really the collaboration and help. It's a lot easier for the data people to work. They don't have to log in and out from different services and change screens and so on. Just peeking inside it also for a second, like this is the Power BI homepage, basically when you go in, and if you go to engineering, then it looks pretty much the same. You have your workspaces, you have your monitor, your one lake, and you can go into different experiences with a few clicks only. And now we'll talk a bit about those cooler features, at least in my opinions, that come with Fabric. So firstly, about shortcuts. Shortcuts is basically like the same as you would create a shortcut on your desktop of your favorite Excel that you have somewhere in a folder. So here you can create shortcuts to your favorite databases that are living in either OneLake, Azure Data Lake, Amazon S3, Dataverse, or Google Cloud Storage. There is no actual data movement, so you can just creating like a view towards the data, and it's kept updated all the time. Here, it's of course cool that there are all these external sources, but what is very important is that there is this internal source. Like when you have built your solution in Power BI, for example, you have different workspaces, you have something for sales, marketing, finance. Now, normally when marketing would need some data from sales to enhance their reporting, you would have to do some kind of development to get that data available for them, maybe create some new measures, some new queries. But here, if we are using OneLake, we can create a shortcut between the two folders for the specific tables that we need and include the measures also in them if we need that are already made. So you have one place where you have one truth in the sales, for example. Sales has built it, it's their truth. Nobody can change that and they are responsible for it. And marketing can use that. So when changes come along the road, there is one place to do changes, not two places anymore. So it enhances really the collaboration and makes it a lot easier. Now, one thing, important here is that these shortcuts can be used also on on-prem and restricted network locations, but you need to have a data gateway like you would normally have for Power BI. The important thing is that the data that you can shortcut to has to be in Delta Parquet format. It cannot be in other formats. If it is in other formats, then it's better to use mirroring. Basically, here we do replicate the data that is in the source system and keep it in sync. Currently, there are different, like 5 that are like out of the box. Like if you have Snowflake or you have Databricks, Cosmos DB, you can do a mirroring to them and your data will be translated to Delta Lake format by the mirroring process, basically, and kept in OneLake. These are like out of the box solutions. And now during Ignite, they also announced mirror databases preview. So if you have your own application that is producing some data that you need for your analytics, you can build a landing zone so that you can have it landed in OneLake, and it will be ready for all the analytical frameworks that you have there. This one, direct lake mode. And this is also new for Fabric. So far, we have had 2 options to build Power BI models. So we have import mode and direct query mode. In import mode, we are duplicating data. So we're doing the refresh, getting all the data from the database, and it's kept here in the model. And then we have tax queries and represent the result. The problem is that when we are on, let's say, Pro license on Power BI, then we can do 8 refreshes per day. If we are premium per user or premium license, then we can do 48. But still, the problem is that we are duplicating data. We are transferring it from one place to another. And there are some drawbacks to that. Now, when we look at direct query, we can do real-time analytics, but basically, as long as we keep our DAX queries super easy. As soon as they become a little bit more difficult, some filters in it and so on, then translating those to these SQL queries and sending them back to your database, basically it becomes slow. So the report rendering is slow. Now, when we look at direct lake, then the model is basically holding in memory only the columns that are needed to drive the result. And as they're living both in OneLake, or in Fabric, on top of OneLake, then there is no need to do this import of data all the time. So these DAX queries can basically look straight into the Delta Lake files. I would put here another picture also that kind of tries to resemble it better. So we have the files and data here in OneLake. We can use Lakehouse and SQL Analytics Endpoint or Data Warehouse to build our tables and views, which are used to build the semantic model, which is in direct lake. Now, once the user opens the report, the DAX queries are sent straight to the Delta tables here, and only the columns that are needed to represent the result are loaded into memory. So this gives the speed for it. There are some fallbacks. If you are using 2 very complex DAX queries, it might fall back to direct query, and it will become very slow. Or if the answer that you're getting is too big and cannot be handled, then also it can fall back to direct query. But this can be, there is some tweaking and optimizing maybe to do, depending on the needs. But in general, it's very, very exciting. Data Activator, as I said, we will talk a little bit more about. So far, there has been option to set some alerts on your dashboards on Power BI when some kind of certain metric reaches a level, then send an email notification. But now with Data Activator, it doesn't have to be a dashboard anymore in Power BI. It can be a normal report, or it can be something that you do in your Synapse real-time analytics, data warehouse, whatever, any experience basically that produces a result can then be checked with Data Activator, which in turn can do like a Teams message, send an email, or trigger an Power Automate flow. And in Power Automate, possibilities from there to do any kind of activity, there is a lot of them. So I put here just an example also to show how easy it actually is to set it up on a report. You just select your visual that you want, set an alert, and what's the threshold and so on, what should it do? Should it be via email or Teams? Also, it has its own like workspace or UI where you can see your different triggers. Here the example is about checking the temperatures of medicine packages, where we can see if something becomes greater than 50, then do something like send a notification to the driver that hey, your freezer is not working, or whatever the case is. So, and it's a totally like it's a no-code environment, so you don't have to write any code to set up these kind of triggers. Also here we played around a little bit ourselves to show like when you want to send an email, what should it do when you want to send a Teams message and how it lands, either in the email or in Teams then. So also now really fast I will talk about costs. So you can basically choose different types of SKUs. The hardest part probably is like, oh, but which one should I choose? And it comes with your reserved capacity units, and you can go with either pay as you go per month, which is basically charge per minute, or you can reserve your capacity per month and it's billed yearly, I believe. Also on top of this cost, you will have data storage cost, which is around 21 euros per terabyte per month. Very important to keep in mind also is that Power BI licenses don't come with any of those SKUs. So if you are on or above F64, then you can share your reports to free license users. But before that, everybody who develops or who uses the reports would need to have the Power BI license also included. And also Copilot starts from F64. Now, when I think about like an average company, 100 employees, 50 Power BI users, and they don't have major huge databases and data movement, they don't need like a lot of real-time analytics, but normal needs, then it definitely makes sense to start with F2, no problem. And it's super easy to upgrade it to the next levels if you see that there are some issues with notebooks not running fast enough or something. So also when you go and try out, there is like a trial you can activate for yourself. If you go to activate the trial, then the actual capacity that you get is F64. So if you build out your solution in F64 and then start with F2, then you might run into some issues. That's it about costs, I believe. And yeah, here I'd just like to say thank you and give the word back to Hannes and Ivo.
Yeah, and thank you, Taavo, for the good overview about Fabric and cool future features which are coming almost I would say every day or every month to the solution. And I believe the pricing you showed was not per user but per company.
Yes, sorry, I didn't confirm. The license, Power BI license is per user, but okay. The other one was for the solution.
Okay, thank you. But now we are on our way to talk more about the warehousing for BI and AI. And Ivo, our data analytics architect, takes the stage. Please, Ivo. Your microphone is muted.
Okay, sorry. Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yep, all okay.
No, thank you. Hello, my name is Ivo, and I'm working in OIXIO already 20 years. And I have 30 years experience in information systems and ERPs and software development. And in the last 5 years, I work mostly in BI area and work in more technical side of this, not doing reports actually. And what I'm going to talk today is about data warehousing. What are data warehouses? Why actually we now may need them, and why we didn't need them maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And second, we talk about how start your warehousing project, what are maybe the problems and what to avoid. And third, I talk a bit about Microsoft Fabric as a data warehouse platform, because this is a Microsoft response to now the new market needs to have more data warehouses actually. And first, I talk a bit about history and what are the challenges now and why we didn't have them before. First, if we look back 5-10 years, we had all we had was on-premise databases, on-premise applications. We had our own servers, or the servers were just in the cloud, but we could access all the infrastructure, all the system there, and it was quite easy to build all the reporting on top of operational databases. These companies that used Microsoft, they had Microsoft SQL, and SQL had a lot of tools to build actually good data warehouse solution in a small scale company, not in the terabytes or petabytes, but manageable sizes of data warehouses were really good with SQL Server. There were analysis services, reporting tools, pipelines, and so on. But now we are in the new era. We have a lot of software as a service solutions in cloud, and we can't get access to the databases anymore. So usually all these systems give access to APIs, but and through API it is possible to build reports. If you need 2, 3, 5 reports, then this is working good. But in a longer horizon, actually you can run into problems. If you have bigger volumes of data, or you have more reports, or you are a bigger company, then probably just building reports against API is not enough for you, and you need kind of different solution to build good business analysis solution in your company. And for that, actually, is data warehouse. Now there are much more need for data warehouses just because of these SaaS solutions. And with data warehouse, you have pipelines that get data from APIs and store them in data warehouse in regular basis. And you have possibility to do the data loading only incrementally as often as needed, and you can actually offload the data transformation or all these complex calculations into data warehouse and do it as you need, so that reports just get prepared data and you have fast results. And the second benefit is in data warehouse you have big normalized structure, so that self-service analysis tools can also be used on top of this data warehouse, and ad hoc queries can be done easily. And of course, you can apply AI tools on data warehouse also, because there are all the information that the AI specialist needs. So next, how to build your own data warehouse. It's one way is just start from zero and start testing and trying, and then build, and you get what you get. But actually, that is better to do some kind of structured approach to get better results in the long term. Because if you just try to do something and then maybe after a year or two you have to scrap everything and rebuild it again. There are two actual ways to build it. First is agile, and the second is waterfall. I think business people like more agile because they get results first. First BI results reports will be accessible quite fast. More like IT people, maybe like waterfall, because you can just build your whole data warehouse slowly and then think about all the problems. But maybe the first results will be after a year or two. And if you go agile, you actually need to specify first a lot of things. You don't need to build actual things, but you have to specify policies and best practices and test it actually what is good and what's working and in which way I will do it. First, you need good document architecture. What kind of layers do you have? What kind of data do you have? How to put them and how to process them? You need best practices for data management, written policies. You need to test your security, how to build a robust system to apply your security rules, so that after building reports, you don't have to apply personal permissions to every report. Your security should be more robust, using groups and bigger pieces. You need to find responsibilities about the data. And actually, to do this in agile project, you first it's good practice to create a proof of concept book and test all your choices. Maybe you have to scrap your first book and do the next one and next one. And when you are really happy, then you can actually start building your data warehouse. So if we go further, all these what you need are actually written. If you Google data governance, a lot of these things I told you before are covered by data governance. And Microsoft actually has a data governance tool also. It's a Purview product. Let's go on and look some more things about what do you need to define before. It's architecture. I told it shortly, but architecture now usually people are talking about medallion architecture. It's kind of standard architecture in new data warehouses. Here you have data is spread into several layers. Here usually it's 3 layers: bronze, silver, and gold. You load all your data into bronze layer, and you load it as is. It's copy of original system. In silver, you just clean the data if it's needed. And gold is a reporting layer. You have your star schema there that all the reports can use directly. And you can use direct connection to PowerBI from the gold layer. And that's quite standard architecture. You can tune it by your own needs always. You may not need silver layer. Maybe you'd want to add some more layers for AI or one more layer for AI. It's up to you, but it's just a reference architecture nowadays. Then Of course, you have to create the best practices and write down the best practices building your data warehouse. It's first the structure. What workspaces do you use? How to organize data in different areas? Do you link data or do you copy data? Naming is always a problem. Actually, developers are always stuck with how to put good names. Security, how to organize get robust security, and then compliance, how to ensure compliance and regulations, GDPR. For example, how to delete a customer name if he wants that his information will be deleted, how to delete it from data warehouse where all the history is also stored. What tools do you use? Because you may have some internal competence already in your company, and you maybe want to use these tools, not other tools. And for developers, it's a version control and deployment pipelines, how the developers will be using the system and developing the system. Do you have dev, test, and live environment, or are you just using live environment and doing all your stuff there? Then let's go and look at really brief about data warehouse in Fabric. About Fabric origins. Fabric is not a new product. Fabric is quite old. Its roots go to SQL Server. The components, SQL Server integration services, analysis services, reporting services actually are some way embedded in Fabric already. From SQL Server product, Microsoft moved to Azure, and all these services became parts of kind of Azure services. SSIS became Data Factory. Analysis services, again the same name, and there was a Power BI, and Microsoft works together with Databricks, and then the Databricks is also a good big service in Azure. Then Microsoft moved on and built Synapse Analytics service that includes just got together all these needed services for data warehousing. There were Spark pools, pipelines, warehouse, Power BI, and Power BI was separate from Synapse Analytics, but Synapse was for building the data warehouses. And now it's Microsoft found that actually it moved all the Synapse processes into Fabric, and now all these are in one offering, in one pricing, and you can access it all from one portal. So Fabric functionality, there are Fabric data warehouse functionality. There are for data warehouse part, there are things like data loading and transformations. There are several options. One is low codes options. There are pipelines. It is the old integration services or Synapse pipelines. And there are data flows. They are going from Power BI. It's data flows generation 1 and 2. Then you have Spark PySpark notebooks where you can write in Python, and a lot of people like actually to write Spark. And you have the SQL. So the people who know how to write SQL, you can actually write all transformations in SQL procedures or views. Data storage is always in Parquet, or mostly in Parquet. In Lakehouse, and there are two kinds of ways to store. It's Lakehouse and Warehouse. Lakehouse is for PySpark and Python users, and Warehouse is for T-SQL users. Lakehouse supports also no non-structured data. Warehouse needs only structured data, and it means tables. And for data consumption or querying, there are two ways. It's SQL endpoints. It's the T-SQL, and the SQL endpoint is for Lakehouse and for Warehouse. And always there is a way direct Parquet to query directly Parquet data from tables. It's fastest way It's to get data to Power BI. So, and what's more, for data warehouse developer in Fabric is AI, of course. There are you can do AI in Python notebooks, and there are a lot of machine learning artifacts in Fabric. It's a big area about AI. There is streaming support for streaming data, KQL database, and real-time analysis. I didn't talk about it now, but it's there and it's working. You have, for developers, you have Git support, deployment pipelines, and if you are building a bit bigger project, you should definitely try it and use it, because it makes your life much easier in a long term. Then you have support for Purview for data governance. There are some elements of Purview built into Fabric, but it's the big Purview product can be easily integrated with Fabric. And of course, you have Copilot support, like in all products. And maybe in further future, you can replace your IT people with Copilot and then build your reports yourself. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. And I give Johannes the last words.
Yeah, thank you, Ivo, for the presentation. It was maybe for some too technical, but at least I understood most of it in a general level, and then it's really good to have this kind of expertise in our house. So, but now we are coming almost to the end with our webinar, and it's last one in the series of 4 webinars. We will be sending the link of a recording during a day or 2. You can look the most interesting parts or share with your colleagues. All the webinars are available to look from our YouTube channel. And as a special offer for our webinar participants, we have 2 options. You can choose both if you're interested. First of all, if Microsoft Fabric is something you are more interested, then we are happy to host about 3 hours this kind of workshop. As our colleague Taavo said, it would be good to name it Start Your Day Smarter, a morning with Microsoft Fabric. So it will be a practical workshop to walk through how to start, etc. So if you just scan the QR code, you can find more detailed info in the webpage and register for the workshop. And we will announce a date during few weeks, but most likely it will be somewhere in end of January or February. And practical Copilot online training in January. We have some seats available. You can register, and we will be also saying the date within a week or 2 where we can host Copilot training in January. So thank you for your time, and please feel free to contact us if you have any questions regarding data analytics, AI projects, machine learning, or Fabrics or Power BI. We are happy to answer and start a proof of concept or some first projects with you. Thank you and have a nice day.